The coffee is black. The robot is very, very frisky. And I'd like to welcome you to the Tuesday, July 29th edition of Modeling Blog Daily, where Bill just kind of rants with a cup of joe. And today I'm going to rant on a model I did yesterday called the delivery dock. I'm going to give you some details. You'll see that sometimes I will spend my blog going over a model that I did if it's more complicated. It might not appear to you to be complicated, but I tell you, it's a very complicated model. In fact, this model comes right out of a 6379 Lego riding stable, 1986, and I built the riding stable. The documentation is devoted to the riding stable, but on the back of the documentation, no, I do not have the box, but I do have some ideas on the back cover, those two right there, and then what I called the delivery dock. What I normally do when I'm building a model like this, I'll take a picture of a picture, and I'll use my trusty Kodak 8 megapixel camera, and then I'll bring it into my paint shop program, where I can zoom in and look at some of the details. And I'm going to zoom right into that porch because everything else is straightforward. When I build a model like this, guys, I count the nubs, I lay everything out, put everything down that's pretty straightforward, and then I run into a problem. And I'm looking at this picture, you can see that that's kind of a strange way to put a railing. But that means that I had to do it exactly the same way. I'll tell you why they did it that way, but it was a challenge. And to show you the secret, I'm going to move this guy, and you'll see two 2x1 reds, one there and one behind it, and they are connected securely to the deck, and they form the back two plates. The front two plates are a 1x2 red, and then below that there's another 1x2 red. They did it, guys, so that they can open up the gate, and it still doesn't open up quite like it should, but that's just the way it is. It was enough to pass muster, and it was hidden by the guy. So I did it exactly the way they had it there, but it was a challenge. It was a challenge. I had to think hard and long on how to do that. Now when you do it this way, then you have to raise, see, there's a railing on the far side at the same height. So what I did is I added little black connectors there, because they look like you know, you could use them to tie off a horse. So that worked out pretty good. Everything else was pretty straightforward with the main structure, with the exception of this side. I ran into some problems with, I was running out of whites. So you just have to use what you have, and then you have to figure what you're going to do. So I decided, well, I'll just put in a window. And when I put in a window, that solved my problem. I had enough whites to do the wall. Everything in the back is pretty straightforward. The other thing that was a real challenge was this delivery truck. This was clearly a 2x4 red, and you can see it from, see the picture? That's clearly a 2x4 red, so I had to reserve that. But when I did all that, guys, I didn't have enough reds for the main plate on the bottom. That's the problem. I ended up having to use white as a part of the plate, but you can't see it because it's hidden by those bales of hay right there. So what is below those it's a 2x4, actually 2x8 plate that's white, and it's hidden, but it's part of the main. It's actually part of the body of the truck, delivery van's bed. I guess that's what they call it. The other thing that's not too clear, but if you let me just zoom in, that's what I got this thing for. Look at that right there. That is clearly, see what that is in the angle? See, that's what that is right there. You can blow it up and you can see the details. The other thing you can see, if you look real close, you'll see that there's an angle there, and I'll just flip this over and you can see that's clearly what it is. I took some liberties in the back. I added this little tow hitch because that's probably what they... Uh-oh. Well, he didn't plop. The other thing, it was kind of a challenge. I tell you, it would be almost nearly impossible to do it from this picture if you're just doing it. You'd have to get a magnifying glass, but I want you to look right below that guy sitting. He's sitting on it, and then below that, see this thing right here, but if you blow it up and you look real close at it, see, what is it? That's a square corner, see? But see how it's round? Ah, that's an arch. That's what it is. And the white slips right under the arch, and that's exactly what it is. See the arch? Okay, one other point, and then I'm going to let you go. See, if you look real close, right behind the guy, there is a shutter. And see, it's hard to see when you're just looking at this picture, but there's a shutter on behind his right shoulder and his left shoulder. And that's exactly what I put, a shutter behind his right shoulder and left shoulder. And when you do that, then you have to extend it up higher by one plate. And I put that plate on the bottom. I'm trying to teach you guys how to build the ideas because I think it's going to be a lot more fun for you personally as you're building your models. Bill in red, and a very sleepy rowboat. Wish you to have a wonderful Tuesday ahead. Sayonara, friends. Sayonara.